Hello, I'm Dominic Hennessy from Just Us. We're financial advisors based here in the City of London, and we're working to make London's professionals prosperous. I've been a financial advisor for 18 years and I've been running a business here in the city for 10 years. In that time, we've met a lot of people. We've met prosperous people, people who are becoming prosperous, and people who will never ever be prosperous. And what I'd like to do today is share with you a number one idea on how to create personal prosperity for your family, for your future. The world feels like a very unstable place right now. We actually live in a time of unprecedented financial crisis and instability. The stock market just doesn't perform. Europe's constantly on the brink of going bust, and high street banks have gone bust. Even the house that we live in rises and then falls in value. I'm sure that we can all envisage that history will look back on the time that we're living in as being a hugely significant one. So what I want to do is share with you an idea that will work irrespective of what's going on in the world around you. But before I share this with you, I have to issue a warning. Even though what I'm about to tell you is incredibly simple and it will work, only 5% of people will actually implement this plan. People look for more and more complicated solutions when the most simple they just ignore. And it is just a few simple words. Save 10% of every single pound that you receive. Now you're thinking, what a cheat, I can't believe it. I thought I was about to get the inside track on the latest horse race or a tip on the FTSE 100. Nothing so exotic, I'm afraid. It really is that simple. Think about it. Save 10% of every pound that you receive. It's incredibly simple and it will create prosperity for you for your future. And what would the benefit be of doing that? Well, in my experience, people live in a state of misconception that either the state or a large corporation will look after them in the future, or they plan that their parents can die conveniently young, leaving them hundreds of thousands of pounds just at the right moment. Or they think that tomorrow somehow their income will miraculously increase, or that their outgoings will dramatically decrease, or that they'll just no longer want to maintain their standard of living in the future. But don't worry, I know that the world out there is quite tough at the moment, and now is not the moment to start. In fact, it might be worth taking a moment to think of all of the reasons for you personally why now is not the moment for you to implement this plan. So here are a few that I've thought of on your behalf. It's a recession right now and nobody saves in a recession. Or the recession's over and my business thrived in a recession. I'm too young to become prosperous, or I'm too old to start. One day, somehow, somewhere, I'm going to hit the jackpot and that'll be fine. And the very best of the lot, I've got bills to pay. Now if you're thinking that or something similar, don't worry, because you're not alone. In fact, you're in there with 95% of the population. My question to you is, do you want to be in there with 95% of the population? Everybody knows 5% of people are prosperous and 95% of people aren't. I'd like to challenge you today on how you're thinking about your financial future. Listen to the logic in your head. Is it fair of me to say that unless you decide to make a change, then nothing will be different? Basically, you've become, even if you're self-employed or earning a large salary, a wage, tax, bills and outgoings slave. You found a way and settled for paying all of your outgoings, making sure you have nothing left at the end of the month, and that's destined to continue for the rest of your life. So here are the golden rules to this plan. Firstly, save 10% of every pound that you receive as soon as you receive it. Don't wait until the end of the month, it'll be gone forever. Secondly, do not spend this money. There will be plenty of time for that later on. Thirdly, if you're already saving, make sure you increase the amount you're saving every 3 months. You've got to keep challenging yourself. And lastly, if you can't save 10% just yet, that's fine. Save what you can now and build on it in the future. This concept is incredibly simple, but I did not say it's going to be easy. You're going to get challenged along the way. Most people fall at the very first hurdle of actually just doing something about it in the first place. As you go along, you're going to start creating savings for yourself. There are going to be moments where you get large bills that you're tempted to pay out of your savings, or you might go and get yourself a very nice suntan. It's not a question of whether these challenges are coming your way, it's a question of how you're going to react. So what's the benefit to you of becoming prosperous? Well, I'm going to leave that entirely down to you, but here's a few things that might happen along the way. Firstly, if you're worried about bills and outgoings currently, I'd imagine you'll be less worried about them in the future. Can you honestly imagine that people with savings worry about paying bills that they can afford to pay? In fact, these people have created that time to do much more positive things. The other benefits I'll leave for you to discover along the way. If you're worried that you might find this plan difficult to implement on an ongoing basis, don't worry, because we're here to help. And I'd like to sum up by throwing down the gauntlet of a 3-point challenge. Firstly, at some point today, take a bit of time out just to reconsider this message. Secondly, very soon from now, make the commitment to start saving 10% of every pound you receive. Listen to all the excuses and voices in your head and decide to manually override them in the name of your financial future. And thirdly, give us a call to make an appointment so that we can make a rocket charge version of this plan personally for you. I'm Dominic Hennessy from Just Us, and we're working to make London's professionals prosperous.